You believe accessibility is a virtue. It is a fatal flaw. You are an open target. Your transparency is not honesty. It is a vulnerability that predators exploit. Look at your posture. Look at your reactions. You walk into a room and immediately signal submission. Your body language screams for validation. The nervous chatter, the default smile, the quick nod. These are biological flags announcing you are non-threatening. You are volunteering for the bottom of the hierarchy before the interaction even begins. This is not interaction. It is preemptive surrender. You are suffering from a psychic infection. The desperate craving for external approval is a parasite. It is consuming the structural integrity of your ego. Your true self is currently held captive by the compliant persona you constructed to appease others. That mask is not protecting you. It is dissolving your core strength. It is an invitation to predators. The world is a wicked environment. People do not require conscious malice to disrespect you. They simply respond to the signal degradation you emit. When they smell the craving for validation, they instinctively assign you the role of the prey. You are placed in the servant box, the safe person box. In that box, you are harmless. Harmless men are ghosts. They are overlooked. This is your ruin. But there is a different mode of operation. There is a presence that does not ask for attention, yet commands it. A confidence so absolute, so heavy, that it generates awe. This is the presence of the true predator. This is the man who has built his own territory and requires no tribal approval. Machiavelli understood the architecture of dominance. He whispered this law to rulers. Love is unstable. Love is given by choice. Respect, born of awe and the threat of controlled chaos, is a chain. We are not discussing positive thinking. We are performing an immediate autopsy on your current personality, cutting out the weak tissue and stitching in the mindset of the tyrant archetype. Be warned. Once you cross this line, the warmth of conventional acceptance vanishes. It is replaced by the distance of respect. If you prefer the comfort of being overlooked, cease reading now. But if you are ready to be the one who moves the pieces rather than the one being moved, understand this. The reason you feel weak is not because you lack strength. It is because you are leaking power. You are bleeding authority in 7 distinct ways every single day. Stop the hemorrhage and the pressure builds. When the pressure builds, you become a force. The first law, kill the nice guy. You have been programmed with a lie. You were told that if you are nice, the world will be nice back. Look at your life. Is this working? Or are the people who seize what they want getting ahead? Machiavelli wrote, "A man who wishes to make a profession of goodness in everything must necessarily come to grief among so many who are not good." Translation: if you play by the rules of nice in a game designed for power, you will be destroyed. Nice is a survival strategy for the weak. It is a plea for mercy. It says, "I will not hurt you. Please do not hurt me." This is submission before the conflict has even started. Terrifying confidence begins when you replace nice with civil. There is a crucial difference. Civility is a choice. It is a code of conduct you impose on yourself because you are disciplined. Niceness is a reflex. It is a foreign, anxious response engineered to avoid conflict. The man who terrifies is civil. He uses manners. He speaks calmly, but behind his eyes, there is a wall. He holds the door open, not to seek your approval, but because he holds himself to a non-negotiable standard. If you cross him, the civility vanishes, not into rage, but into ice. When you stop trying to be liked, you become unpredictable, and unpredictability is the root of psychological terror. Consider the dynamic. The boss who constantly yells is annoying but not terrifying. He is readable. He wants to vent. He is a child throwing a tantrum. Now consider the boss who never raises his voice. The one who stares at you in total silence when you make a major mistake. The one who speaks softly, slowly, and smiles without his eyes crinkling. That man is the threat. Why? Because you do not know his plan. He has detached his emotions from the interaction. To become this, you must cease smiling by default. Observe yourself for 1 week. How many times do you smile when you are not genuinely amused? How many times do you laugh at a joke that is not funny? This is submissive signaling. It is a biological flag to the dominant figure in the room that you are not a competitor. Stop it. Keep your face neutral. Let your eyes rest on people without rushing to reassure them. When you stop signaling weakness, people will initially become uncomfortable. They will ask, "Are you okay? Are you angry?" That discomfort they feel, that is the immediate shift in dominance. That is them realizing they can no longer read you. You have become a closed book in a room full of open magazines. The second law, the vacuum of silence. Most people are addicted to noise. They are terrified of the pause. Watch two insecure people interact. They overlap. They interrupt. They rush to fill every millisecond of dead air. Silence feels like judgment. They are throwing words into the void, desperate for connection. The Machiavellian mind does the opposite. He creates the void. Silence is not empty. Silence is a vacuum, and the anxious human mind abhors a vacuum. When you stay silent, you create a psychological gravity. Other people, driven by their own anxiety, will rush to fill that silence. They will reveal information they intended to hide. They will negotiate against themselves. They will offer you power just to make the awkwardness stop. Here is how you weaponize this. When someone asks you a question, do not answer immediately. Wait 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Look at them. Maintain unblinking eye contact. Then answer. In those 3 seconds, their reptilian brain goes into overdrive. Did I offend him? Is the question stupid? What is he calculating? You have destabilized their certainty before you have uttered a single word. When you do speak, speak slower. Fast talking is a sign of anxiety. It signals that you fear interruption, or that you do not think your time is valuable enough to claim the space. Slow talking signals that you expect to be heard. It signals that you have nowhere else you would rather be and no one you fear. A king issuing a decree does not rush. He speaks as if the world waits for his punctuation. If you are interrupted, do not raise your voice. Do not get angry. Simply stop. Stop talking completely. Keep your focus on the person who interrupted you. Let the silence hang. Let the room feel the rudeness of their violation. Usually, they will stumble, apologize, or trail off. Then you continue at the exact same volume from the exact same spot. You did not fight for the floor. You simply showed them that you own it. The third law, starve the golden calf. The golden calf is external validation. It is the idol you worship. Every time you check your phone for worthless likes, every time you fish for a compliment, every time you explain yourself to someone who does not matter. You cannot possess terrifying confidence if you are addicted to approval. If I can control your self-esteem by giving you a compliment, I own you. If I can destroy your day by giving you an insult, you are my puppet. Your emotions are the strings. To terrify, you must cut the strings. You must reach a point of emotional zero. This does not mean you are a robot. It means your self-perception is an internal fortress. It is closed to the public. If someone calls you a genius, your internal response is, I know what I am. If someone calls you a fool, you think, I know what I am. Neither statement moves the needle of your self-worth. When you meet someone who does not need you to like them, it is disturbing. We are conditioned by the social barter system. I validate you, you validate me. When you opt out of that transaction, you become a glitch in the matrix. People will try harder to impress you. They will try to provoke you. They will try to provoke you, attempting to drag you back into the transactional system where they can measure and manage you. When they fail, you establish dominance. You cease being a participant in their silent war and become the terrain upon which they fight. Stop analyzing these superficial reactions. We must dissect the source of the rot. Your desperate need for external approval is not merely a social quirk. It is a psychic infection. It is the physical manifestation of a profound biological failure to establish self-sovereignty. We must perform the autopsy on your current state. The reason you are consistently relegated to the status of prey is that your internal control system is broadcasting a failure code. This is understood instantly by the reptilian brain of every person you encounter. The reptilian brain, the most ancient and ruthless layer of our consciousness, operates purely on hierarchy. It does not care about your intentions, your kindness, or your qualifications. It demands immediate answers to two survival questions. Is this entity a threat? Can this entity be consumed? Your default programming, the wide smile, the rush to reassure, the nervous laughter, is interpreted by the reptilian brain as absolute submission. It is the biological equivalent of an animal exposing its throat. You are aggressively signaling weakness. You do this because, on a primal level, you believe that appeasement is the only path to safety. You believe that if you signal you are harmless, you will be spared. This is a dangerous delusion. In the wicked environment of human interaction, signaling harmlessness does not earn mercy. It invites parasites. When a subpredator detects a weak signal, they do not feel affection, they feel hunger. They instinctively lose respect because respect is a currency reserved for those capable of defending their territory. You have voluntarily surrendered your territory before the conflict even began. The emotional signal, degradation, you experience when ignored or slighted is not hurt feelings. It is the sound of your ego being metabolized by the external environment. Your sense of self is not an internal fortress. It is a flimsy tent staked into the shifting sands of public opinion. Now, look deeper into the Jungian darkness. The nice guy persona you wear is a catastrophic defense mechanism. It is a refusal to integrate your shadow whole. The shadow you contains everything you have rejected in the pursuit of being good, the capacity for healthy aggression, necessary ruthlessness, boundary enforcement, and lethal competence. By denying these forces, you do not eliminate them. You exile them. They do not vanish. They coalesce into an autonomous shadow, a powerful, repressed complex that operates outside your conscious control. This exiled power turns inward, resulting in internal conflict and dissolution. You become terrified of your own potential power, the tyrant archetype, latent within you. To prevent this feared emergence, you overcompensate with excessive politeness, compliance, and approval-seeking. This excessive niceness is not virtue. It is fear of the hybrid, shadow, leakage. This internal warfare makes you a puppet. You are not just controlled by the opinions of others. You are controlled by the anxiety generated by your own repressed force. When you fail to set a boundary, it is not because you are loving. It is because the internal shadow has paralyzed your ego with the threat of confrontation. You are leaking power because you are fighting a civil war within your own psyche. The external world senses this fragmentation. They see a man whose inner life is in ruin. They see a man who is not whole. They treat you with the contempt reserved for broken machines and unsecured resources. The need to be liked is the ultimate vulnerability. It is the control mechanism that allows others to manipulate your reality. When you crave their validation, you are handing them the emotional leash. They only need to withhold validation for you to jump through their hoops. You become addicted to the small, fleeting doses of approval, ensuring your continued submission to their hierarchy. The path to psychological terror is the path of integration. You must retrieve the exiled parts of your shadow. You must learn to wield controlled aggression, not as rage, but as an impenetrable boundary. You must cease to be a consumable resource and become the immovable object. The terror others feel when encountering you will not be born of violence, but of the sudden realization that they cannot read you, cannot control you, and cannot consume you. You will have achieved the unfair advantage but of psychic self-possession. This surgery requires a symbolic death dies of the compliant self. The weak man must be sacrificed so the sovereign can survive. We continue the laws of establishment. The modern world is not a village seeking harmony. It is a highly optimized environment engineered for psychological exploitation. Your desire to be good is the perfect vulnerability. It is the open gate through which parasites enter your main territory. The system, social, economic, political, does not reward virtue. It rewards leverage. It seeks to convert human complexity into predictable, consumable data. Your need for approval, your willingness to compromise boundaries, your fear of conflict, these are not character traits. They are measurable assets for the Bacon Predator class. They are proof of your internal submission to the prevailing hierarchy. You are living under a psychic infection where morality is confused with compliance. You have been taught that self-sacrifice is noble. This is the language of the slaughterhouse. Every time you prioritize someone else's comfort over your own integrity, you are signaling a lack of self-possession. You are telling the environment that your time, your energy, and your resources are unsecured and available for immediate consumption. This is the tyranny of the devouring mother one archetype projected onto society. The system promises safety, inclusion, and validation, but only in exchange for your total autonomy. It demands you remain small, readable, and non-threatening. When you break this unspoken contract, when you assert your will or create a boundary, the system reacts with swift psychological violence, exclusion, ridicule, and manufactured guilt. This social pressure is designed to force you back into the box of the compliant, the nice, the harmless. The nice man is always surprised when he is betrayed. He believes his good intentions shield him from malice. He is wrong. Intentions are irrelevant in the silent war. All that matters is leverage. You make yourself easy to exploit, you will be exploited. If you present yourself as prey, the hunters will arrive. They do not have to be evil. They only need to recognize the opportunity you handed them. They smell the internal ruin your fragmented psyche has created. Your niceness is not a shield. It is an invitation to predators. The truly dangerous man, the man who commands respect, is capable of tremendous cruelty, but chooses not to deploy it. He is civil, but his civility is a calculated performance. He maintains his boundaries because he understands that the moment he allows invasion, the cost of ejecting the aggressor increases exponentially. The nice man constantly manages damage control. The sovereign man prevents the damage entirely by establishing an impenetrable perimeter. To survive this wicked environment, you must stop thinking of your interactions as opportunities for validation and start seeing them as strategic exchanges of power. You must cease the bleeding. Your compulsion to justify, elaborate, and explain your actions is a primary source of power leakage. You offer detailed rationalizations for your decisions, preemptively defending yourself against phantom criticism. Stop this immediately. Justification is a plea for clemency. It signals insecurity. A ruler acts. He states the command. He does not debate the necessity of his existence. When you feel the urge to over-explain, understand that this is your reptilian brain, panicking, attempting to negotiate safe passage. Shut it down. Your life is not an open ledger for public audit. Let your decisions stand as self-evident facts. This creates productive ambiguity. Ambiguity is a supreme weapon in the silent war. When people do not know your motives, they inflate your power. When they cannot categorize your actions, they fear your capabilities. If you state, "I am doing X because I want Y result," you give them a roadmap to obstruct you. If you simply do X, they spend their energy trying to decipher your intent. You control the narrative by controlling the information flow. Furthermore, stop offering excessive information about your strengths or weaknesses. The hot predator gathers data. They log your vulnerabilities for future exploitation. When asked about your plans, be vague. When asked about your past failures, be clinical and detached. Never offer a confession or a vulnerability as a bonding strategy. This is an invitation to predators. True bonding occurs through shared risk, not shared frailty. You must cultivate the appearance of having deeper resources than you display. Let them assume your capacity is greater than what they witness. This psychological inflation, the unfair advantage, means they will hesitate before engaging in conflict. They will assume the cost of opposing you is too high. This is not lying. This is strategic self-presentation. This is the foundation of dominance. You must become a closed system where energy is conserved, not broadcasted for the consumption of others. The ultimate measure of your control is the amount of effort others expend trying to figure you out. When they stop trying to read you, they start respecting you. When they stop respecting you, they start fearing what you are capable of. The man who is an enigma is never prey. He is the force that must be accounted for. You have consumed the initial laws. You understand the mechanisms of power leakage, the default smile, the anxious chatter, the addiction to validation. But understanding is nothing. Action is the only metric. If you fail to execute this strategic shift, if you retreat into the comfortable cowardice of your old self, you must face the consequences. This is not about failing to achieve success. This is about inviting ruin. You believe your current state is survivable. You calculate that by remaining small and invisible, you avoid conflict. This is a fatal delusion. Remaining small does not make you invisible. It makes you prey. You are not avoiding the battlefield. You are forfeiting your territory before the first shot is fired. The universe and the human collective abhors a vacuum of strength. Where you refuse to impose order, chaos will impose itself upon you. The cost of your insubmission is the dissolutions of the self. When you consistently choose compliance over confrontation, When you swallow necessary truths to maintain a false peace, you are engaging in self-cannibalism. Your ego structure has become porous, losing its boundaries. Jung called the repressed self the autonomous shadow. By trying desperately to maintain the appearance of goodness and accessibility, you feed the shadow with your weakness. That shadow, the unlived potential, the necessary aggression, the justified anger, does not vanish. It gains autonomy and turns inward. This is the process of psychic infection. The infection manifests first as anxiety, then as chronic resentment, and finally as a total breakdown of authority over your own life. You become a puppet whose strings are pulled by the expectations of others and the demands of your own unintegrated dark side. You are no longer acting, you are being acted upon. Look at the man who cannot say no. He believes he is being generous. He is in reality suffering from a malignant case of cowardice. He fears the brief, clean conflict of refusal more than the long, drawn-out agony of obligation. He accumulates burdens until he snaps, not with controlled force, but with infantile rage, confirming his weakness to the world. If you continue signaling weakness, the predators will find you. They do not need malice, they only need instinct. They smell the opportunity for low-cost exploitation. They log your compliance as a renewable resource. In the relational sphere, your weakness attracts specific archetypal parasites. If you refuse to embody masculine force, you will inevitably attract the devouring mother archetype, the partner, boss, or friend who infantilizes you, controls your resources, and demands your obedience under the guise of care. She senses your fear of confrontation and uses your emotional addiction to approval against you. You become her perpetual child, trapped in a state of dependency. In the professional sphere, your inability to establish boundaries attracts the weak tyrant archetype, the boss who overworks you, the colleague who takes credit for your labor, the system that ignores your competence because you lack the gravity of command. They do not respect your effort. They only respect your output, which they view as their entitlement. You are not a partner, you are a tool. The descent is brutal because it is silent. You will not wake up one day and realize you are ruined. You will wake up realizing you have been ruined for years, slowly, through 1,000 small acts of submission. Your life becomes a series of reactions, never actions. You are constantly negotiating the terms of your survival, rather than dictating the terms of engagement. This is the psychological state of signal degradation. The world ceases to take you seriously. Your opinions are dismissed. Your presence is overlooked. You become socially irrelevant, not because you lack talent, but because you lack the necessary weight of command. You have become cheap. The antidote is not motivation. It is controlled chaos. It is the deliberate surgical installation of psychological danger. You must become the kind of force that people hesitate to approach without caution. This requires facing the inevitable threats that arise when you finally draw a line in the sand. When you reclaim your territory, the Hana parasites will scream. They will call you selfish, difficult, or arrogant. This is the sound of them losing their easy meal. Their discomfort is proof of your fortification. You must accept that the refusal to engage in conflict is the greatest conflict of all, the internal war against yourself. You must choose now. Will you remain the puppet one of your own anxiety, inviting dissolution and ruin? Or will you embrace the necessary cruelty of self-mastery, forging the presence that commands, rather than begs, respect? The next phase requires the deliberate destruction of your social mask. It requires the law of the stare. It is time to look into the void and ensure that the void looks back and finds nothing it can recognize or control. The third law, star of the golden calf, is incomplete without addressing the source of the addiction. You are addicted to approval because you are terrified of your own shadow. You seek wholeness. You confuse it with sanctity. Your psyche is not a temple, it is a fortress with a deep arsenal. The final law is not about becoming a better person. It is about becoming a more dangerous one. It is the integration of the internal predator. You have been systematically disarmed. Society demanded that you reject your natural aggression, your territoriality, and your capacity for cruelty. You obeyed. You suppressed the animal within, burying the necessary ruthlessness required for dominance. This rejected material is your shadow. You think you are keeping the peace by being the nice guy. You are not. You are simply guaranteeing that the true force of your being manifests as self-sabotage and weakness. Because you refuse to command the darkness commands you. This is the terror of the autonomous shadow. It does not disappear when you ignore it. It gains possession. It runs your life from the basement of your psyche, fueling your passive aggression, your cynicism, and your inability to seize what is rightfully yours. It ensures you remain small, fearful, and perpetually resentful. This is a conqueror's psychic infection that guarantees your ruin, Sue. The current culture demands that you be soft, pliable, and non-judgmental. This is a deliberate strategy to create easier prey. They want you to believe that power is inherently evil. They want you to fear the cow-tyrant archetype within you. They want you to fear the capacity for necessary brutality, because the moment you stop fearing it, you become uncontrollable. The man who commands respect is not the one who is gentle. He is the one who could be violent, but chooses not to be. His civility is a discipline, not a reflex. His self-control is proof of a greater hidden power. You must stop seeking to kill the animal. You must leash it. You must understand its instincts. Feed it only when necessary, and deploy it surgically. This is the definition of controlled chaos. This integration is not about becoming a moral monster. It is about eliminating naivete. You must know intimately how to destroy a person, financially, socially, and psychologically. You must be able to calculate the cost of conflict and be willing to pay it. If you lack the capacity for cruelty, your kindness is not a virtue. It is a signal degradation. It is a transaction forced by fear. When you integrate the shadow, you become unpredictable to those who rely on your weakness. They will test you. They will try to provoke you to find the old submissive man. When they realize the old man is dead, when they encounter the cold, calculating refusal to back down, they retreat. The shift in the hierarchy is immediate. This is not a pleasant process. To integrate the shadow, you must confront the worst aspects of your nature. Your desire for revenge, your envy, your deep primal rage. You must look at the darkness without flinching, because you are analyzing a weapon system, not seeking a confession. The unfair advantage you gain is psychological immunity. When you acknowledge your own potential for evil, the accusations and manipulations of others lose their power. They cannot threaten you with what you already accept about yourself. The most potent manifestation of the integrated shadow is the ability to commit symbolic death. This is the power to end relationships, discard people, and obliterate structures that no longer serve your territory without hesitation or regret. The nice guy clings to toxic connections, fearing the silence and the judgment of separation. He is a host to parasites. The integrated man uses the scalpel, law of the scorch. If a relationship, a job, or an obligation drains your power, you must initiate the dissolution. Do not negotiate terms. Do not offer explanations that can be used against you. Simply sever the connection. The resulting void is a necessary sterilization. When you cut someone off cleanly, swiftly, and permanently, you send a terrifying signal. I am autonomous. My value is non-negotiable. I do not require your permission to exist. This action generates fear because it is utterly foreign to the weak mind. They cannot comprehend why you would sacrifice comfort for power. They expected a negotiation, a plea, a dramatic struggle. They received cold, clinical execution. This is the ultimate refusal to engage in that submission. When you can walk away from validation, love, and comfort without looking back, you become an existential threat to the social order. You have demonstrated that you are willing to burn bridges to secure your position in the pros hierarchy. You must practice this symbolic death daily. Kill the expectation of others. Kill the version of yourself they rely on. Kill the anxious need to please. Let the old self undergo ruin. Only then can the new terrifying self emerge, armored by the darkness it commands. Your silence is now a gun. Your stare is now a firing solution. Your presence is the constant low-frequency hum of potential destruction. This is not about happiness. This is about survival at the apex of the hierarchy. The analysis is concluded. The anatomy of your previous weakness, your eagerness to please, your addiction to validation, your systemic signaling of submission has been laid bare. You are not dealing with a personality flaw. You are dealing with a psychic infection that has rendered you vulnerable to every parasite and a predator in your environment. This knowledge is worthless without immediate surgical action. You are standing on the precipice of the ruin of your old self. Do not hesitate. Hesitation is the last reflex of the boy you must execute. That boy, fueled by anxiety and the crippling desire for societal approval, is a liability. He is the weak link. He is the reason your potential authority remains dormant. The execution must be internal. You must commit fratricide against the compliant self, the soft voice demanding retreat, pleading for comfort, begging for the warmth of being liked. That is the voice of the devouring motherly archetype, trying to pull you back into the collective mediocrity. She offers safety in exchange for your power. Reject the bargain. Your transformation is not a gradual process of growth. It is a violent replacement. The autonomous shadow you have repressed must be integrated and harnessed. It will not be gentle. It will be ruthless. Every law detailed here, killing the nice guy, weaponizing silence, starving the golden calf, initiating symbolic death, is a scalpel. Use them to excise the tissue of weakness. The world requires you to be readable. It demands predictability so it can categorize and control you. When you adopt the mindset of the tyrant archetype over your own internal territory, you become the anomaly. You become the threat. You will feel the pressure of the external world trying to force you back into your box. People who benefited from your past submission will attempt to provoke you. They will try to re-establish the social barter system. They will call you arrogant, cold, or selfish. This is the sound of their control slipping. This is proof that the operation was successful. Do not apologize for the new distance. Do not explain the new silence. The man who rules operates under the Kati law of controlled chaos. He understands that security is an illusion. He builds his fortress not on trust but on deterrence. Your deterrence is your absolute lack of need. You are no longer seeking acceptance. You are enforcing respect. Respect is the currency of the Iwa hierarchy. It is earned through demonstrating the capacity for swift, unemotional retaliation. Your capacity for dissolution must be visible, even when dormant. Live in the perpetual state of the silent war. You are now equipped. Your face is a mask. Your words are measured. Your silence is a weapon. You have recognized the architecture of human dominance. You understand that to survive, you must secure the apex position or be consumed as prey. There is no middle ground. Pact is simple. You will never again willingly signal weakness. You will never again seek validation. You will operate solely from the position of unfair advantage. The boy is dead. The man is born. Now, rule your territory. This is not a choice. This is the only path to survival. Execute.